This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Ton, once again, you asked Sam some good questions yesterday. I want to start with one of the things he said about them rolling the pocket. He said they practiced it, but then they didn't implement it in the games. Did you read the same thing I did, that there was definitely some frustration that didn't seem like Enos and Pittman connected on some of the stuff they were trying to implement during the course of the week?
Yeah, good morning, guys. With Sam, he says some things, and then you have to kind of read between the lines on other stuff. And, yes, you could tell that there was a sense of frustration that what they worked on, maybe Enos didn't trust in the game. Maybe he didn't trust whatever, past the protection they had, or didn't trust the edge. You just don't know. But if you take this from, the big picture view, Sam felt he had too much package, and I think that it weighed on KJ's mind that you're not just seeing stuff and going with it. You're having to think it through, and people always play slower, and so you start maybe questioning the trust factor on what Enos was calling and what he believed in. And so, they practiced it, and then they get into the games, and they didn't run it. And so if you're Mississippi State, you're just running your stunts. I mean, Lewis Riddick pointed out on the broadcast, they were running a lot of four-man rushes. Now, they did bring the safeties and corners some too, but Nathaniel Watson, they just run a twist, and the lineman wouldn't pass it off correctly, and he got sacks out of it. So, and then the whole thing of, like, if something's working, let's stay with that. And so there was clearly a disconnect. I think bottom line, I think Dan Enos' stubbornness and just doing what he thought was going to work wound up costing him, because even when it was 7-3, you felt like, well, one touchdown, they can win this game, but you didn't feel like they're going to go down and do that. And if that's the way fans felt, imagine what players felt. I mean, they say, yeah, we knew we were going to go down and drive and score, but man, they had a bunch of drives after Mississippi State took the lead. They had 9, and they didn't get it done.
Tom, what do you think about Pittman's comments where he said before the game against Mississippi State, they were like home, bum, 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 bum. He just didn't feel any life. And he also went on to say that he felt like the defense has played with life all year long under Williams. Do you feel like these offensive players ever fully connected with Dan Enos and fought for him this year?
Maybe they didn't. Maybe there was a generation gap or a communication gap or just something. Certainly there was an enthusiasm lapse. And as fired up as you see the defenders, and, Travis Williams and his staff have earned their keep. And probably at some point, they're going to get raises and move on, and you know what I mean, like move up in the industry. And it just feels like Dan Enos might have reached the, analyst type situation because of the, lack of being able to get guys in really, passion, And so Sam Pittman did admit, though, that's part of his deal. He's got to get the offense playing with passion too. So I don't doubt that the Florida game, we're going to see a spark to the team and all. Now, whether that will translate to points and staying on the field, moving the ball, remains to be seen. But like Kenny Guyton, and I hope he can connect in terms of the overall picture and give the Razorbacks a chance to be in games from here on.
Tom Murphy with us on the McClarty-Daniel hotline. Going back to Saturday after the game, yesterday in the press conference, what's your thoughts on Sam's level of honesty? He's been open about some of the mistakes he's made, some of the in-game decisions. What's your take on how much of an open book he's been here as of late?
Yeah, sometimes probably too much of an open book. Basically, the lack of getting that 51-yard field goal was his indecision. And I don't know if the wind was a factor, but you've got a guy who's made 10 field goals in a row or whatever, a bunch of them 50-yarders. Let him go out there and slam it through and come within a point. If you're within a point, A, you've scored in the second half, and B, another field goal can win the game, and it's a lot easier to drive into field goal range than it is to go down and score a touchdown. and they just blew it. We don't know if Cam Little would have made the field goal, but the chances were better that he makes it than he misses. And even if he doesn't make it, if you're worried about field position, your defense has been delivering basically all day long. The only drive they scored on, they got 30 free yards, and I still question the Jaden Johnson tripping call. But anyway, and they held Mississippi State the rest of the game. I mean, they didn't really get close to scoring position until Arkansas failed fourth down, and then they missed a field goal.
Yeah. Do we see a different KJ Jefferson beginning November 4th at Florida?
Well, I hope so. I do think this gives him a mental, refresh. And, I am assuming that he'll, connect with Kenny Guyton. They'll talk about the plays that he does best. They'll reduce the package and give him fewer things that he has to think about. Here's the thing. The Kendall Briles offense was quite explosive, and they can run the ball very well, and he just seemed like a better runner even. His passing percentage numbers had held up until the last couple of games, and they've dropped some. So I do believe we'll see an energized. I mean, he's got 2 weeks to recover and, plug into what Kenny Guyton is going to do, and he'll probably have a good bit of say. And here's what I'd like, and I think it might give them a better chance to be a productive offense.
Tom Murphy with us here on the McClarty Daniel Hotline. Tom, we got about 30 seconds or so. You think Guyton plays his way into consideration for the OC job in 2024?
Well, I'd like to think that he would. Clearly this is going to be a strange offseason at Arkansas. I heard you talking about number of wins left, and what it would mean for Sam Pittman. But he laid it out there. We didn't straight up ask him, hey, are you playing for your job? He just said it. My butt's on the line, I believe was his quote. But they want to win games, and I think I would like to think that Kenny Guyton will have a hand in who's hired as offensive coordinator here in the offseason.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.